Hi, this is Aasha Francis,
And I'm Olivia Doig,
your
the teachers
for composition
of
of a city. So look, we're back again this week with some great interviews and another prompt for you guys to work on. This week, our focus is on mood and feeling with the music.
Yeah, and so some of the questions we're going to be exploring today include, why do certain pieces of music make us feel a certain type of way? And what are some musical devices we can use to convey emotion?
So this week, I interviewed Chicago-based mezzo-soprano Leah Dexter. She performs with the Lyric Opera of Chicago, Chicago Opera Theater, and Chicago Sinfonetta, among others.
And I interviewed CW Allen, who's a Chicago-based hip-hop artist and rapper who just published and released a new book and a new album.
Look, I hope you enjoy these interviews. Make sure to listen for the prompt at the end. And this week is going to be a great one.
Do you think that music has a certain mood? And if so, who do you think decides what that mood is?
Yeah, I definitely do. It is tricky, like when I'm registering songs, when they ask, is it a happy song or like, is it sad? Sometimes it's a little tricky with that, depending on the song. But I definitely think music has a mood and a tone. And, you know, when I'm writing a song, sometimes I'll write to a different track and then I'll have someone reproduce around it, but they'll reproduce around my vocal and the cadence and the somberness or the exuberance that I show on the track. So that'll kind of invite what instruments are used and the melody and all of that stuff. So I definitely think there is a such thing as sad and happy and different, melancholy, different types of tones of music. And we just naturally do that. I think that's why Drake has been the most successful artist the last 10 years. Like he finds a way to even though he sometimes ain't saying a bunch of nothing, but the way he writes melodies and delivers it really speaks to his ear for capturing emotion and art. And, I think for me, my favorite artists that I enjoy listening to over and over and over and over again are artists that sing and rap and play with conviction. Like you really feel what they're saying. And there's one, it's funny, like there's one artist that has so much, I don't listen to him a lot, but he has so much conviction when he sings that you're like, why is he singing about what he's talking about? Like the emotion and tone of how he's singing is just so captivating. It's almost like you're listening to somebody take you to church or somebody who just got broke up with, and that's T-Pain. Like when you hear him just sing, you're just like, he sings with so much conviction, and it's captivating. So I definitely think there's emotion and tones and frequencies in music that will, appeal to our emotions. You think you got to think that way as an artist as well.
Yeah. Do you ever do you ever come to a song with a certain idea about what the mood is and somebody says they heard something different in it? Or do you, and if so, is that encouraging or is that confusing?
Yeah, I typically don't have that issue because I listen to a lot of artists, who love, like who sing and rap with conviction. I typically write music that way. And so, yeah, it's not really a lot of room. Like when you hear my song Vent about my father, you know exactly where it's coming from. Like, this is a dirge, like we're grieving, When you hear a song about my daughter or my wife, this is a love song. This is happy. This is uplifting. This is whatever vein of the love song I'm talking about, whether me and my wife are fighting or we making love. But, I haven't had that issue at all. People typically go along the wavelength for what I'm going. And I think that's just a testament to the producers I work with. They just do a good job of capturing the emotion and the presence of what I'm trying to deliver.
That sounds like a testament to your ability to convey exactly what you're feeling too, to be really clear in your storytelling. So that's cool.
I love writing. Yeah, I just love writing and how it comes together. And that's one thing that I lament with music sometimes is that, and it happens with every genre to some degree. We don't take time to just live life and breathe the story. Like you think of your favorite songs that singers sing, they're the greatest, like the best songwriters are people who just live life and go and breathe through it, right? Like the best music we have is out of brokenness. And it's just like, you know, even if you ain't never had a serious breakup, you could listen to certain songs and just be like, I feel you.
If you had a young artist come to you and they were like, I want to write, let's say, a sad song, that's what I want people to hear in this song, what would be like some steps or some guidance you would give them in conveying that?
Yeah, first thing I would say is, what is a sad song about? You know, what are you trying to convey? Is it a death? Is it a breakup? Is it, you know, you falling short in a mission or a goal that you have? So identifying what the subject matter is, and then from the subject matter, you can drive that sad thought. But I don't typically, and this may be something in a different genre, like a classical, where you think that way. I don't think mood first. I typically think subject, and then let the subject dictate the mood. And then from there, you begin to search and think through what the production will sound like. And you begin to write to the production and so on and so forth.
So basically, how do you use nonverbal tools to basically convey the mood of a piece?
When I am either writing a piece or composing something or singing a piece from another composer, there is a significant amount of time that has to be spent just with the poetry, away from the music. And during that time spent just reading through the words and trying to get a feel for, you know, what's going on in the poem, but also understanding the inflection of the words and how that, you know, and what is the best way to present the inflection or the stresses on certain syllables or the length of phrases. What is the best way to express that with the music? And then once there is an understanding of how the voice flows through the words, then you put it together with the music. And there's so many different ways to get the words across. You could do accents on certain words. You can sing maybe a certain phrase louder and the next phrase could be softer. All of those things really help to bring the words to life. And there's so many different ways to go about it. You know, as I said, there's no correct way to sing. Like there's no just one way to sing any song. Like it's, you know, it's completely open to the artist and how, and I'm sitting here, I'm just like, that's the beauty of singing and the beauty of performing. It's, you know, and it's really artistic license, how you want to deliver or what is the best way for you to put things across to your listener.
That's really great. I think that's great inspiration for our students too. And just lastly, the last question, and again, thank you for your time and even just, you know, exploring these concepts and realities as a singer and artist with us. I think this is really going to benefit our students. For them, as they're trying to create original material, some of them for the first time, some of them revisiting these things for the first time in a long time. What advice would you give to them? Because you talked a lot about how you spend a lot of time with the piece. You're looking at the lyrics. You're thinking about your own experiences. So for students who are approaching art and poetry and music, what advice would you give to them as they are getting ready to compose their own, you know, pieces for this project?
Oh, yes. You know, I would say, first and foremost, definitely keep a completely open mind. Don't limit yourself or say, oh, I don't know if that's going to sound good, or oh, I don't know how someone else might perceive this. It is your piece of work. It is your composition. It is your art. You are free to put into that as much as you feel. You know, as I said before, really spend some time with the words. Really, really spend some time with the language of the piece and really get a full understanding of what mood they want to put across. What are they trying to say? What is the message of the poetry? And also use very descriptive, very visual, colorful words. You know, really, you know, if they so choose, put the detail into that. I like to be outside, or I like to get visual ideas. So whether it's, I don't know, just sitting in the park and people watching, or going to a botanical garden, or walking around downtown Chicago, and I might see like a mural that's, oh, wow, that's so beautiful. And then I'll take a mental note, or I'll make a note of it. You know, and it really, it just draws from personal experience. And, you know, if a listener really grasps that you're speaking from the heart, or you're speaking from your own personal ideas and personal experiences, then that comes across even more, and it comes across even clearer to whoever is internalizing the music. So yeah, you know, just be free, be open, and whatever ideas that they might have, or that come across in their minds, and definitely take notes, write things down, because you know, you don't know if you're going to remember every single little detail that you see and hear or experience. And then, you know, later, once you have little notes or little snippets of things, you can always come back to that later and put things together or draw things out. And yeah.
So for this prompt, we'd like for you guys to take images. This can even be, maybe there's a photograph, maybe you have a baby picture, or photos of you with family or friends that stand out in your mind. And we would like for you to essentially create the soundtrack to that image. And you can pull images from online, from magazines, or different places that you'd like to have music that complements that particular image. So Olivia, what kind of things, I guess, maybe could come to mind for a person when they're looking at an image and they're trying to pull out like the emotions of that? I guess, what are ways that they can kind of help put the music to the image?
Yeah, I would just think about what, as you look at this image or even a few images, what do you think what's the pace of the scene that you're seeing? Is it fast? Is it slow? You might want to think about what elements in the picture you're trying to convey. Like if there are cars, if you want there to be noise that would make you think of sort of the movement of cars. If there are people, if you want there to be noises that sound like human noises, or are human noises. And also think about what you want somebody to feel when they see this picture and hear the music that goes along with that, and how that might impact if the music sounds like it's happy and upbeat, or if the music sounds like it is to you like it is sadder. So yeah, and I would say really whatever moves you in this is what we want to hear. There are no rules. We want to hear how you are moved by these pieces of photograph.
So ready, set, go. You guys can get started, and we look forward to seeing what you create.